There is a TikTok psychic, her name was Ashley Guiard, who claimed in her TikTok psychicness that she had discovered who the killers of the four Moscow, Idaho students were. She was just ordered to pay $10 million because of her psychic predictions. I wonder if she saw that one coming. Bada bing, bada boom. The story itself is not all that funny. And if you're that professor and you have someone who's spreading these, I don't even know what you call them, rumors. The reason why I say Candace might want to pay attention to this particular decision is because I would have raised the argument that nobody in their right mind takes the internet content of a self-proclaimed psychic seriously or as anything else other than their own personal stupid opinion, because I do not believe in psychics. That's the argument I would have raised. I would have, something along the Maddow / Tucker Carlson defense. Nobody listens to them thinking that you're listening to matters of fact statements of, actual fact, but rather news type commentary. I would have said a TikToker who says that she figured out the killer. I would have said, yeah, most people are, I don't think anybody's going to take that seriously. I would have been wrong. $10 million. This is out of New York Post. University of Idaho professor awarded $10 million after TikTok Taro influencer claimed she, quote, ordered, end quote, quadruple murders. I got the lawsuit. We're going to pull up a little bit of it afterwards. A University of Idaho professor won a $10 million judgment against a TikTok Tarot influencer pushed a crazy fake conspiracy that she was behind the savage quadruple murders of 4 students. So, 2 things of note here. Being crazy is not a defense. And I was a psychic and nobody was supposed to take it seriously. Also not a defense. Other learning curve points of interest here. Getting suckered into or influenced into promoting crazy conspiracy theories because of the traffic that they garner can be liability incurring. And this is not any attack on freedom of speech. Freedom of speech never covered defamation. It never covered intentional infliction of emotional distress. And we now have, at the very least, I won't say new precedent, but at least a contemporary precedent that you don't get to cloak it in. It's just my opinion. I'm just a crazy psychic. If it harms, you might be on the hook for millions and millions of dollars. A Boise jury in U.S. District Court ordered fortune-telling Texas TikToker Ashley Guiard on Friday to pay $10 million after concluding she falsely accused Professor Rebecca Schofield of having a secret romance with one of the 4 victims and orchestrating their killings. Following the verdict, Schofield thanked the jury and said she hopes the case sends a clear message that making, quote, false statements online have consequences in the real world. Do we have a video here? Ashley Guiard posted on TikTok. Can you bet? It's wild. Woman looks clearly crazy to me, but maybe I'm just projecting at this point, or at least projecting what I already know of her. The caption says, at this point, it's obvious Rebecca Schofield silenced Kaylee through her ex. She wanted to silence me, so she contacted my ex. Batshit crazy, but it rhymes with other theories that we're seeing. The murder of the 4 students was the darkest chapter in our university's history, Schofield wrote. Today's decision shows that respect and care should always be granted to victims during these tragedies. I am hopeful that this difficult chapter in my life is over and I can return to a normal life with family and the wonderful Moscow community. I don't know how she's going to collect on this. I don't know how much the TikTok influencer might have been worth, but Schofield University's professor for the history chair filed the lawsuit December 2022, just weeks after after the 4 were murdered. Guiard began uploading videos to her more than 100,000 TikTok followers in late November, accusing Schofield of a secret relationship with one of the students and claiming she had, quote, ordered the killings, garnering millions of views across the social media platform. The complaint states that Schofield never even met the victims. We got the rest of that. Let me show you a little bit of the lawsuit itself, because it is kind of interesting. This is the lawsuit from back in the day, Schofield versus Guiard. November 2022, 4 students were murdered. We did the preamble here. The parties, factual allegations in the early mornings. Well, we got the factual stuff. Let's get to the statements of what she actually said. First claim for relief, defamation, false statements regarding the murders. In her TikTok posts between November 24, 2022 and present, Guillard made false and defamatory statements implicating Professor Schofield in the murders of the 4 students. As Guillard's false statements involve criminal accusations, they are per se defamatory in nature. That means no further evidence required to determine the defamatory nature of them. In fact, this went to a judge who said, as a matter of law, this is defamatory per se, and we don't need to have a trial on that. We're going to get to that paragraph in a second. She knew her statements were false. She had no knowledge about anything happening in Moscow in or around November 12th. She never even went there. Guillard's false TikTok defamed Professor Schofield because they were viewed by millions and millions, yada, yada, yada. Now, where were some of the claims? I got a video up in the backdrop so we can look at this. By November 28, 2022, Guillard had been directly informed that her TikTok videos alleging that Professor Schofield was involved in the murders were false. Nevertheless, she continued pushing her TikTok videos, aware that they were false. In one TikTok video, she wrote, "I don't care what y'all say. JD and Rebecca Schofield killed the women. Rebecca was the one to initiate the plan and hired JD." I mean, I'm surprised she didn't succeed on just the insanity defense, because it's objectively insane. But let's see if I can get the... is this the ruling right here? This is the ruling. So from page 18, let me come back to it in a second. This is the court order itself that said, as a matter of law, these statements are defamatory. This is a memorandum from the judge. And what the judge basically says here is going down. No one disputes the words were spoken. Nobody contends that they meant anything other than what they meant. And this is a summary judgment. Page 18, this is powerful evidence at the summary judgment stage. It not only substantiates plaintiff's argument that defendant's statements about her are false, it also highlights the complete lack of any corroborating support for defendant's statements. In this way, plaintiff has sufficiently demonstrated the absence of any genuine issue of material fact relating to the falsity of defendant's statements about her, meaning we don't have to have a jury decide this. As the gatekeeper of evidence, the judge can say, yes, defamation per se. This shifts the burden to defendants to dispute that claim by setting forth facts showing that there is a genuine issue for trial relating to whether her statements about plaintiff are actually true. In that regard, defendant, quote, may not rely on denials in the pleadings, but must produce specific evidence through affidavits or admissible discovery material to show that the dispute exists. By the way, just apply this mutatis mutandis to the Candace Owens defamation case, where Candace is going to have to, presumably, if Macron, because remember in the Candace lawsuit as well, it's not just that Candace was saying Macron is a man or was a man, was born a man, became a woman, made accusations of having participated in stolen identity, secret murders potentially. And so the question is going to be, what evidence do you have to substantiate that above and beyond just mere denials? So this could be applied mutatis mutandis to some degree, although I think the accusations here are far worse. Except the only support for defendant's statements about plaintiff is that defendant's spiritual investigation into the murders using, quote, intuitive tarot readings, end quote, led her to plaintiff. Guillard used her claircognizant abilities to gather all the pieces of the puzzle of what happened to the 4 students and why. She became very passionate and touched by their stories, as told by the intuitive tarot readings and their social media footprint. An intuitive tarot reading revealed that Schofield would get away with the murder if it wasn't for Guillard. This is fucking crazy. And this is just batshit crazy. At the time, Guillard did not know what would happen, but she decided to continue to seek the truth regarding the murders of the 4 students on their behalf. Okay. Well, let's scroll down a little bit. Plaintiff's motion for leave to amend, to complain and add punitive damages, yada, yada, yada. And then we got the beer. It is hereby ordered plaintiff's amended motion for partial summary judgment granted on the issue of liability only. Plaintiff's motion for leave to amend the complaint and add punitive damages is granted. And now, after all of that, jury came out with $10 million. I think it was $2.5 million. What were the amounts here? Hold on. It was 10 million versus, I think there was 7.5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the jury awarded Schofield $7.5 million in punitive damages, in addition to the $2.5 million in compensatory damages. Well, that's funny in the sense that the psychic, if she were a good psychic, probably could have seen that coming. And then just to pull up one of the videos where you can actually see the batshit crazy woman being batshit crazy, University of Idaho professor Rebecca Schofield has filed lawsuit against Ashley Garrett, a TikTok tarot reader, for inaccurately linking. Inaccurately is one way of saying it. And then this is the video, which will probably tell you everything you need to know.
I think this is how y'all want me to feel about a measly ass $75,000 lawsuit that I'm gonna win. Oh my God. Killer Rebecca is suing me. I think this is how y'all want me to feel about a measly ass.
I think this is how y'all want me to feel about a measly ass $75,000 lawsuit, because I guess at that time, the only amount claimed was $75,000, the threshold to get into a certain court system.
$5,000 lawsuits that I'm gonna.
It's not $75,000 anymore.
Win. Oh my God. Killer Rebecca is suing me.
The killer Rebecca is suing me. It's wild because I do wonder if we're living in a world where people think anything goes in the context of social media content. I think this woman is probably clinically insane, which would have been a better defense. I'm sorry, it was a manic bipolar episode that extended over time, undiagnosed or unmedicated, and I was not legally responsible for what I did, and I apologize. But you got to wonder, what the hell do people think you can get away with under the guise or pretext of social media content? Well, I'm a psychic. Nobody's going to take it seriously. You're calling someone a killer, someone who's at the university, a professor, so that you can garner millions of views on your crazy conspiracy theories, fake crime investigation drama. I'm just wondering what she's worth, because this might be one of those situations where you have a judgment-proof creditor. I don't know if that was her house. Does look kind of nice. Maybe she's renting. Cabinetry looks okay. You got a above oven microwave. No clear indications of water leaking on the ceiling. Nice light fixture. Air-conditioned unit. Who knows? Maybe she's not judgment-proof. Maybe she'll garner the revenues from her TikTok account. But that is the lesson of the story, and some people might want to pay attention, because I think a lot of this does apply mutatis mutandis.